Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Bella Bartok, the Hungarian soul. Sounds like he's a prize fighter, doesn't it? Well, this popped up today in the mail. I have not even looked at it. I haven't even opened it. We're going to have a spontaneous experience of discovery, you and I. And let's just see what they did and whether it's worth anything. Remember, there is a superb Bartok complete edition on Decca, which is just marvelous. So this is going to have to be very, very good in order to top it or even compete with it. It has 20 CDs. It's not a complete edition, but we're going to give it a shot. So here we go. I'm opening the box. See, we open the box. Here's the box. Lovely little box. And, some of these complete editions have been marvelous, really first class, and some of them have been less than marvelous, shall we say. And I'm very curious. Okay, so you get a little booklet. The little booklet has no useful information in it, as I can see. No, nothing here. It doesn't give you a track listing, so that means we have to look at the individual discs. So here we go. Let's take a pile of them out and see what we get. Ballet and orchestral works. So we get suite number 2, 2 portraits and 2 pictures. There we go. The suite number 2 is with, this is very interesting, the Orchestre National de la Radiodiffusion Française under Charles Bruck. So that's fun to have. That really is. My goodness, this is first time on CD. I've never heard this performance, so I can't tell you how good it is, but I like the second suite. And let's see, the 2 pictures and the 2 portraits. Oh, those are those Conlon recordings with the Rotterdam Philharmonic. Those were on Erato. Remember when James Conlon was sort of like the Erato guy? And they're there, and they're tepid. A little bit, okay. They were okay. For a while, they were the only ones on CD. And so we didn't have a choice, so we all got them. And then as soon as something better came along, we all got that. And then we got sold these used. Sorry. All right. The 4 pieces are also Conlon in Rotterdam. Again, not bad, not special in any way. The Wooden Prince, it's the suite with the Toronto Symphony and Jukka-Pekka Saraste. I mean, if you're going to do the Wooden Prince, you might as well do the whole ballet. I don't know if they have a complete ballet. Doesn't Virgin have one? Or this was Virgin. I don't remember. Okay. And then the Romanian folk dances, with Sakari Ormo and the Finnish Radio Symphony Orchestra. All right. Nothing wrong with any of that stuff, but certainly, again, not special. And now, let's see, we have disc 3, the Miraculous Mandarin and the Dance Suite. All right. Now, both of those are with, oh dear, the London Philharmonic Choir and Franz Welser Most. I think his Miraculous Mandarin is just one of the worst ones out there. I really do. If you saw my talk on the Miraculous Mandarin, I trashed it rather resoundingly. It's coupled at the moment with the complete Britain Prince of the Pagodas, which makes the thing worth getting. So you're going to wind up with it, but it's just fast and slick and lacking any of the necessary griminess and violence and viciousness, and it's just forget it. The Dance Suite is better. How could it not be? All right, and let's see. The music for strings, percussion, and celesta with the Oslo Philharmonic and Janssens. That's quite good. That's very good. It's one of Janssen's, really fine Oslo recordings. And we get the Divertimento for strings, the Philharmonia Orchestra, and Konstantin Silvestri. Ooh, first rate. Absolutely first rate. And the Concerto for Orchestra with the Oslo Philharmonic again and Janssens. Now, again, it's good. It's not bad, but it's not one of the great ones. And gee whiz, doesn't EMI or Teldec or somebody have a better concerto for orchestra? It's funny. Let's take a pause here and consider this. Now that I think about it, EMI Warner, Teldec Erato was never much of a Bartok label. You know what I mean? Or labels. There's so much great Bartok out there, but it's on Philips and it's on Deutsche Grammophon for sure, and Sony/RCA. I mean, because you've got Boulez, you've got Bernstein, who was a terrific Bartokian, Ormandy, you've got Fischer with Budapest Festival, you've got Schulte on Decca. that's where all the Bartok stuff was. And I can't remember a lot of it on EMI that really sort of floated my boat, if you know what I mean. So we may be in trouble here, folks. It looks like we have some issues. Piano concertos 1, 2, and 3. Well, the Budapest Festival Orchestra with Ivan Fischer and Andras Schiff. Okay, that's not bad at all. I mean, Schiff, he has a reputation for being kind of soft-edged, nice and like Bach and Baroque music, and sort of dull and things from the mid-19th century. But his Bartok was quite good. It's quite good, and it's Fischer and Budapest Festival, so that's good. That's a plus. That's definitely a plus. I think it's a plus. Yes, it is. CD6. Okay, so we get the Concerto for two pianos and percussion with the Lebec sisters. Now, it's not really the fault of the Lebec sisters. It's just a terrible arrangement. I mean, no one should ever listen to this piece. It's just awful. It doesn't work at all. The orchestra might as well go home, is the bottom line. Then the Violin Concerto number 1 and Rhapsodies numbers 1 and 2. Those are all with Yehudi Menuhin, with the New Philharmonia under Antal Dorati, and the BBC Symphony with Pierre Boulez in the 2 Rhapsodies, the young Boulez, and the old Menuhin. Menuhin was in okay shape for that, I suppose. But again, there are better versions out there. And then we have the Violin Concerto number 2 with Yehudi Menuhin, and the Viola Concerto with Yehudi Menuhin, and the New Philharmonia Orchestra and Antal Dorati. Well, first of all, we have Yehudi Menuhin with Furtwängler doing Violin Concerto number 2. And frankly, that's the one that they ought to include, even if it's mono. Actually, it isn't, I don't think. Well, maybe it is. Who cares? It's better. I mean, Menuhin is in better shape, and Furtwängler accompanies quite well. The Viola Concerto, I detest that piece. It's one of those awful completions that should have just been let go. I find it just annoying and irritating and ugly, and forget it. And then we have choral works, 4 Slovak folk songs, 4 Hungarian folk songs, with the Stockholm Kammerchor and the Radio Chorus of Stockholm. With Eric Eriksson, fabulous choral conductor. You know he's good. Those are wonderful. And then Bluebeard's Castle with Anna Sophie von Otter, John Tomlinson, the Berlin Philharmonic, and Bernard Haitink. That's the Castle. Oh gosh, this is such a boring Bluebeard's Castle. It really is. It's just tragically dull. It really, really is. I mean, it is the castle goes to sleep on them. Terrible. Haitink should be ashamed of himself for that one. It's just ugh. All right. Let's see, what else we got? Now we get the Sonata for 2 pianos and percussion, and 7 pieces from Mikrokosmos for 2 pianos, and the 44 duos for 2 violins. Okay, so we have the Lebec sisters with a couple of percussionists doing the 2 piano stuff, and then we have Perlman and Zuckerman in the duos, which are very, very good. Now, remember I said that the Lebec sisters were not responsible for the failure of the concerto for 2 pianos and percussion? Well, they are responsible for the failure of the sonata for 2 pianos and percussion. It's a gutless performance, absolutely lacking in fire and percussive intensity and all of that hot stuff that you want to hear in that piece. All right, so chamber music. Violin sonatas 1 and 2 and contrasts with Renaud Capuçon, Martha Argerich, Gideon Kramer, Oleg Meisenberg, Chantal Juillet, Michael Collins, Martha Argerich, more Martha Argerich. It's got lots of Martha Argerich. Everyone likes Martha Argerich. You're going to want to hear it from Martha Argerich. But actually, they're all very good. Very, very good. So that's worth having. And we're up to CD 11. We're getting there. Chamber music, string quartets. Okay, here they are, all 6 of them with the Alban Berg Quartet. What's not to like? Very, very well played, exciting, nicely done. It's perfectly fine. And that killed 2 discs, so we're up to 13. 7 to go. Hang in there, folks. Oh, yes, lots of piano music. All right, we get 4 Children with Deso Ronchi. Everything that Ronchi did is worth hearing. I mean, he was the Hungarian triumvirate. There was Kocis and Schiff and Ronchi. And Ronchi was the one who didn't do much outside Hungary and who we never really got to hear. So to have him playing Bartok, I think, is a big deal. It's very nice. Very, very good to have. So that's very good and a pleasant surprise. And then we have more piano works. The 4 piano pieces, 10 easy pieces, 2 elegies, the sonatina, 3 burlesques, Romanian folk dances, Romanian Christmas carols, piano suite with Michel Baroff, mostly, Samson Francois, oh, that's fun, and tracks 7 and 8, the 2 elegies, and Desoranki again. So this is all good. It's all good. Perfectly fine and worth hearing. And then let's see what else have we got here. More piano works. Holy mackerel. 15 Hungarian peasant songs, the dance suite, the piano sonata out of doors with Georgi Sibok and Michel Baroff. Very good also. So we're doing better in this than we were in the big orchestral stuff, I think. Microcosmos. Oh my God, is it all here? 1, 2, 3, 4, all with Desoranki. Very, very nice to have. So let's see, what's this? Yeah, that's him again. And the sonata for solo violin with Vilde Frang, who's quite fine. Superb violinist. So that's good. And we have transcriptions and arrangements. Of what? Transcriptions and arrangements. Oh my goodness. Hungarian folk melodies, folk songs from the country of someplace, sick, there we go, or Czech or something. Romanian folk dances, Hungarian peasant suite. It's lots of little folk dancey things. The suite number 2, again for 2 pianos. You'll notice the suite number 1 isn't here. And it's the Capuçon brothers and lots of people like that. And you're going to be fine with it. I have a suspicion. And then, historical recordings. So let's see. Bartok plays Bartok. Okay, self-recommending and lovely to have. This is all kinds of stuff that he's doing of his own. And the Piano Concerto number 3 with Dino Lipati and Paul Sacher, of course, yes. A hors concours choice. It's absolutely one that you don't compare to others. So that's nice to have. And then on the last disc, we get more historical recordings. The solo violin sonata with Andre Gertler, which is fun, and Romanian folk dances, and 3 rondos on Slovak folk tunes with Lily Krauss, which is fun. And here's the second violin concerto with Menuhin and Furtwängler with the Philharmonia. So they did include it, which is very nice of them. They absolutely should. So having Menuhin do it twice may be a mixed blessing. It would have been nicer perhaps to have Menuhin do it this time and put someone besides Menuhin for the stereo version, which they could easily have done, but it's okay. It's all right. So what do we got here? Here's the bottom line. Do we have the Hungarian soul, or do we simply have goulash? That is the question. And it seems to me, on the whole, that for the chamber music and the piano works, this is really pretty terrific. But for the orchestral stuff, it is almost entirely uninteresting. And Bluebeard's Castle and the theatrical music, I'm really a little bit disappointed. I'm sure they could have done better. I mean, since I haven't really taken the time to look because I'm just looking at this box now, I'm not going to get into the usual rant about what should have been here but isn't. All I can tell you is that given the competition, and there are lots of Bartok boxes around now, right? You've got Boulez's Bartok in 2 sets. You've got that Decca Complete Edition, as I mentioned. There's also a separate Schulte Bartok thing. There's boxes of, the complete piano works with even that with Kochis. There's a million versions of the string quartets. The competition is really, really fierce. Now, this is quite inexpensive, to its credit, and there seems to have been some effort gone in making the choices. But the reality is, it's just not competitive. It really isn't. Unless you want the piano and chamber music, you don't need this. You simply don't need it. And that is the truth. And that is my spontaneous impression. Of course, it's not spontaneous, having never heard any of it. I've heard everything in here. So it's my spontaneous impression of seeing what's in here again in this particular format. But I've heard these performances, except for which is the one I never heard. Oh, the second suite with Cheryl Brooke, which I will hear as soon as we're done with this video. I'm going to go listen to it, but it wouldn't change the outcome. It really wouldn't. The orchestral stuff just isn't distinguished. But the rest of it, well, that's another matter entirely, isn't it? So keep on listening, folks. Thanks for joining me. Take care.